How are you? Let us study about the concept of justice. What is justice? Know about justice. In introduction, the concept of justice is one of an integral part of the political theory. Since ancient times, scholars argue about the concept of justice. Everyone needs justice. So Plato says, Republic is one of the classical text where we have seen diverse conceptions of justice. According of him to him, justice is one person, one duty, one class, one work. Justice is one person, one duty, one class, or one work. Understand? Aristotle also presented his version of proportional justice. His work Nicomachean Ethics and Politics books. The idea of justice initially started as a philosophical view based on the moral and ethical points. In the modern political thought, it moves towards the idea of liberty and equality of citizen in the eyes of the state. In the contemporary political thought, justice is concerned with allocation of goods, service, opportunity, benefit, powers, and honors in the entire society. Distribution of justice gives by Rawls. Rawls says the theory of justice, published in 1971, is an analytical study of justice in contemporary political theory. He based his theory of justice on based tenet of procedural theory. Justice requires a meticulous following of rules. He regarded his theory to be deontologized because for him right is prior to and independent of goods. He defined what is good within the boundary of justice. According to Rawls, justice is fairness. Justice means to be fair to all those who have been an advantageous and also those who are at a disadvantageous position. His focus on the social structure and not an particularly individual. For him, a just society is one whose based on structure is just. Given two principles of justice. Each person is to have an equal right to meet most extensive basic liberty compatibility with a similar liberty for others, or equality principles. Social justice and economic justice inequalities are to be arranged so that they are both to the greatest benefit of the least advantages and attached to position and office upon to all under conditions of fair equality and opportunity. That is the different principle. Justice as entitlement. Robert Nozick says entitlement theory given by Robert Nozick. Nozick theory of justice is based on Locke theory of property. Like Locke, Nozick also justified night watchman state. He gave the concept of libertarian justice. He does not support welfare state. According to him, progressive taxation is bounded labor. State has power only with respect to property. State can intervene in the man's right to property in the name of social justice or to correct historical wrongs. According to Nozick, property does not fall with heaven to be distributed, but is a product of human effort. In his book Anarchy, State and Utopia, Nozick gives the three theory of entitlement. There are three entitlement are principles of just acquisitions, principles of just transfer, principles of ratifications. According to Nozick, only when distribution is unjust, the principles of distribution is applies. Commentary and perspectives of Justice Michael Walzer, given by Michael Walzer and Michael Sandel. Michael Walzer's books are Sphere of Justice, given by Inclusive Theory of Justice, where Walzer gives the different goods ought to be distributed differently according to a different social meaning given by members. According to him, justice is not an abstract concept, it is what people subscribe to. For him, each sphere of justice should be considered as a separate sphere for distribution of goods. In other words, each sphere of justice is autonomous. The need for a good and distributions of goods differ from sphere to sphere and on community to community. There are universal distributions theory. Justice is neither possible or not be justified. It is community for which spheres the self and hence the conceptions of justice. Michael Sanders' books are libertarian and limit of justice, criticized by Rawls for his the theory of justice. Feminist concept of justice are Wokin, Gallian and Peterman. Susan Moller had added the question of gender to the concept of justice in his book Justice, Gender and Family. He held the tradition, socialization and role of reflections are all gendered, leading into inequality in status and the rights. He takes a normative stance for where the questions of justice is considered. For her, gender family is root cause gender inequality, which is her in justice. As a reformist, she tries to address the private source of inequality, injustice and unfairness. The public and private divided are her major source injustice and inequality. According to her, the basic unity of justice should be family. For her, justice and equality in the family is important. It needs to be addressed. Susan Oken related the concept of justice in equality between what? Men and women. Carol Peterman, in his book Sexual Contract, challenged the liberal idea of social concepts. He criticized the liberal for not including women as a negotiator in the social contract. She states that women have been taken for granted. They considered the choice of women the same as head of the family or husband. Always said the husband and his men are the head of the family. Peterman in her Sexual Contract sheds light on the fundamental political problems of freedom and subordinates. Carlo Gilgans, in her book In a Different Voice, talks about the care-based morality and justice-based morality. According to her, instead of liberty, ethic and care should be top priority. Global justice given by Thomas Page's theory of global justice. The concept of global justice basically originated the last decade 20th century. It means widening the scope of justice in the global level beyond the boundary of the state. John Rawls also presented a wider perspectives of justice in his book Law of the People to counter the cosmopolitan thinkers Charles Babbage and Thomas Page. Thomas Page originated the ideas of global justice in book World Poverty and Human Right, Cosmopolitan, Representative and Reform, where he argued that the responsibility and achieving the global justice fall in the hand of the advantageous citizens and the affluent country. According to Thomas Page, inequality is in the global resources divided in the key factor behind the poverty. Hence, the world population need to join hand to combine fight against poverty. Amartya Sen's theory of justice. Amartya Sen's book is Idea of Justice. He criticized Rawls' theory of justice, following grounds in that it is fruitful to make effort for any ultimate idea and justice which is actually to all. He does not believe that justice is product of procedure. Three components are of his theory, component of his theory. Let's study about this. First is he uses the element of social choice theory and practice public reasoning to arrive at agree upon issue to realize justice at the global level. We have no need to search idea order. Second are instead the just rules and instrumental fairness focus on how justice can be realized for people across globe. Third are building idea global instruction try to realize justice by drawing strength from multiple sources media NGO global movement regional association international treaties convention global leaders UN etc. There are some important works on justice. Plato works the Republican laws, Aristotle works is politics, Marshall works is natural justice in 1959, Bentham the theory of legislation, John Stuart Miller, utilitarianism, Tom Baltimore, class in modern society, Herbert Spencer, the man versus the state, Frederick Hayek, the road of Seldom, the constitution of liberty, law, legislation and liberty, Milton Friedman, capitalism and freedom, Robert Nozick, anarchy, state and utopia, 1974. Its most important genres is the theory of justice, 1971, the people of the law of people, 1993, political liberalism, 1993, justice as fairness, very important books, a restatement, 2001, Michael Sandel, Liberalism and the Limit of Justice, 1982, Michael Walz's Sphere of Justice, important books. তারপরে অমিতা সেন, Development as a Freedom, 1999, The Idea of Justice, 2009, Susan Moller, Work in Gender, Justice and Family, 1989, Carlo Patman's Sexual Contract, 1988, Carlo Gilligan, In a Different Voice, 1982, Thomas Pose, Global Justice.